Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigval the Grim here and welcome to yet another Injustice 2 mobile video. Today we are going to talk about 5 tips for getting better at fighting in Injustice 2 mobile. I'm doing this video because many of you have asked many questions in the comments about the fighting in this game, and I plan to do a much more elaborate thing in the future where I explain every single combat style and every single combo and combo ender and how to do tag-ins, and maybe in the future how to fight raid bosses. But for now I'm going to help you with 5 tips to get better at fighting. Don't forget that you can ask me any question down in the comments as I will answer them all, and if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe because I post a lot of content targeted at the new players. The first tip that I have for you is tagging a lot. This might seem simple at the first glance, and on the other hand it might seem worthless. Like, why should I tag in if I like the character that I'm playing currently and the other two are just fill-ups in the team? Well, you should tag in and out as often as possible because you see those bars on the top of the screen, like those energy bars? You need a certain amount of bars to cast your abilities, as you surely know by this point. But every time you tag in and tag out, you receive 1 bar of energy, and this thing can give you a huge advantage over your opponents in arena because the AI will tag out only after receiving a certain amount of damage. So the AI is not programmed to take full advantage of this feature, that 1 power bar gain, and you can take full advantage of this constantly tagging in and out and providing yourself a better energy recovery this way. And also you can use tagging combos as combo enders, like you finish a combo with a character and then you tag in with another. Though this can go much more in depth, as I will talk about in the future combat guide video in detail, because there are certain scenarios when you can and cannot tag in, but you can figure those out for yourself. And sticking to the main tip, tag in and tag out as much as possible in order to generate as much energy as possible. And also use the tag in and tag outs in order to tank certain abilities, like if your opponent has a lot of energy, tag in your tankiest character in order to allow that character to absorb the incoming special attack from your opponent, and then tag in your main character to finish the job back again. So this was the tag in and tag out section. Let's move on. The second tip I have for you is to build your teams right. This is my secondary account and the same account you saw gameplay in Arena. I have it for like 3 weeks, and those are the characters that I have managed to get so far. By looking at those characters, you have 10 seconds to think about what teams you would build while having this roster. I will wait for you to think about it, and then I will come back and tell you what teams I'm actually using. Well, I don't think that was 10 seconds, but I'm not a very patient man. So, let's tell you what teams I use and why I use them. For example, the strongest team that I have right now and the one that can deal most damage is the Black Adam team. In it, of course, I have Black Adam, and I've invested quite a few resources in it. And who do I pair Black Adam with? Well, I pair Black Adam with Dr. Fate or Power Girl for Dr. Fate's passive that reduces the cost of power bars for casting an ability. And on the other hand, I pair him with the Bane because Bane has a passive that allows me to deal more damage on the basic attacks and swipes stack. Though this is not important, and the important part is that he has critical chance attack for team. So what do we have in this team? In this team we have 2 support characters that are Dr. Fate and Bane, and the main character, which is Black Adam. In this team, Black Adam is the only character that has any chance to damage the enemy. The other 2 characters are just there to support him. This doesn't mean that I can't tag them in and out in order to generate energy, of course, but my main source of damage will be Black Adam, and he will be the only one I use in order to kill the enemy. Now let's get into another team. For example, I use Batman, along with Superman, and along with Power Girl. Let's break this team down. We have Power Girl that has almost the same passive as Dr. Fate. The -1 power bar cost for special abilities is the important part, and she is the support of this team, obviously. On the other hand, we have Batman, that is the damage dealer of this team, because I've upgraded his special to Stun Bomb to level 34, and he deals a pretty decent amount of damage with it. And on the other hand, we have Superman, that is a pretty tanky character by himself, and I have upgraded his Super Block to level 20. I would upgrade them more, but I don't have the money right now. So what is this team composed of? This team is composed of a support character that's Power Girl, a damage dealer character that is Batman, and a tank character that is Superman. And like this, you can make teams with any characters that you have in your roster, and for beginners I would say are those two types of teams. The teams that have a tank, a support and a damage dealer, and the teams that have a very strong character and two other support characters. Maybe I'll make in the future a video more detailed about team building, but for now those guidelines should be enough for you. And without further ado, let's move on to the next advice. Oh, actually, before we move on, there's another thing that is very important I forgot to mention about team building. Don't just throw your best 3 characters in a team and call that the best team, because that's not your interest. Your interest is not to build the strongest team that you are able to, but to build around your strongest 3 characters 3 very good teams. So it's much more advantageous to you while fighting in the arena to have more decently strong teams than to have one very strong team. This section is the very first that came in mind when I thought about making this video, because I thought back to myself and when I first started the game, and I was thinking about what I was doing. And what I was doing is like seeing a single direction in my mind. In my mind, the only thing that existed was to swipe right and attack the enemy. The block was useless and the swipe left was useless to me at the beginning. And this is not true. The swipe left and the block will be your best friends, especially if you are a beginner. You can use this to very good efficiency, because first of all, the AI is not used to you swiping left and blocking, and more than enough times they will only attack up and then leave themselves vulnerable, and you can dodge left multiple times in order to be able to even dodge some abilities, because there are certain abilities in the game that don't have long range, and if you swipe left at the right moment and keep swiping left, you can totally avoid the damage of an ability that, let's say, costs like 8 power bars. So basically, I advise you that every time you finish your combo, like the 3 attacks swipe right and the 3 more normal attacks, you swipe left and you block. As I just did over here in the fight, because that way you will guarantee yourself that you will be safe against any incoming damage, because if you were to continue your attack and blocking afterwards, you would leave yourself open to the low attack of the AI, and that will break your block and also break your combo. And you can also use the swipe left very easily to avoid hazard damage, and that's a very important thing. So guys, please don't be afraid, as I was, of the swipe left button and of the block button. Use the entirety of the field and or place yourself in a favorable position in order to strike back again, using your swipe left and your block keys. And this is everything I had to say about blocking and swiping left, and without further ado, let us move to the next section. The next very important thing is to know your opponents. As I've said in my previous videos with 5 things you didn't know about Injustice 2 Mobile, you can click in the arena on the characters and read about their passives and their skills if you don't know or understand them. For example, if you are to fight Nightmare Batman, you need to be aware of Nightmare Ambush. This makes it so that the first 3 seconds of the battle your first character will be stunned on one hand, and on the other hand, most of the damage caused by your basic attacks to him will be reflected back to you. So you wouldn't want to fight this guy with a team that relies on basic attacks, and you wouldn't want to start the match with your first character up because he will get stunned and might get killed. And this applies to very many characters, and I can't teach you every single thing about every character that you are going to encounter, and you are going to learn this the hard way, which means that you are going to get absolutely slaughtered by some of the characters, and you will learn how to counter them or the fact that you need to avoid them. For example, I wouldn't fight this team because of the Arkham Knight Batman. They've also got the Black Adam that has on his passive a chance to stun on tag in, and this guy can simply stun you when he tags in and then straight up kill your character with no counter gameplay to it. And the list goes on. Every single battle that you fight in this game will teach you a very important thing about the game, a very important thing about your limits, and a very important thing about what you should do or not. And yet again, there's a lot of things you can learn about how to counter characters. For example, the Green Arrow characters. First of all, you shouldn't really swipe left away from them. Those are one of the very few characters, maybe the only character in the game that you shouldn't swipe left away from, because they've got a very fast swipe towards you animation, and that swipe attack will get you while you're swiping left, so you shouldn't swipe left against them. And secondly, one of their special, Electric Arrow, that's also a power drain, can be totally dodged by jumping over it. And the list goes on, and you can learn various things about how to counter every character, about what to do against a character, about not to fight a character. So you need to learn this from yourself and learn from your mistakes. That is the most important lesson in Injustice 2, and maybe the most important lesson in life. And the last and maybe the best tip is that I can give you is a very obvious one. You need to fight a lot. Because no matter how many videos you watch on this topic, no matter how many people you ask, no matter how many people explain to you, the best teacher to yourself is gonna be you. At the start of the Injustice 2, I didn't really play much arena and I got straight into raids. And man, did I suck during raids. I didn't know how to do my basic combos, I didn't know how to fight, I just know what I should do, but I wasn't able to do it. So after that I started playing arena. Of course I sucked in the arena too, but every single day and every single fight made me a better player, and in no time, I think after 2 weeks of constantly playing arena, I was able to do raids with no problems, because I have taught myself how to fight through practice. Well, this was all for this video. As I said, in the future I will do a more advanced version of this video where I explain all your combos and everything you need to know about combat and about all the interactions involving combat. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. And if you like this video, or if you have any questions, or if you would add any other tip on this list, let me know down in the comments, as I read all comments. Well, this was pretty much all for today, so see you in the next one.